Bolt.
Welcome to the show. Good to have your company on this shameful day in Australian politics. I warned on day one that Malcolm Turnbull was a narcissist. I warned that his one interest as Prime Minister would be to turn the Liberals, a right-wing party, into a mirror of his left-wing self, and that it would end in tears. Well, Malcolm Turnbull, having now shattered the Liberals doing all that, today tried also to destroy the successor who could save what's left. This morning, his challenger, Peter Dutton, demanded a meeting of Liberal MPs for a ballot to sort out the leadership.
Earlier this morning, I called the Prime Minister to advise him that it was my judgment that the majority of the party room no longer supported his leadership. As such, I asked him to convene a meeting of the Liberal Party at which I would challenge for the leadership of the Parliamentary Liberal Party.
And three of Turnbull's last and closest supporters, including the powerful Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann, then said it was over for Turnbull. They quit, he had to go.
We went to see the Prime Minister yesterday afternoon to advise him that in our judgment he no longer enjoyed the support of a majority of members in the Liberal Party party room, and that it was in the best interest of the Liberal Party for the Prime Minister to help manage an orderly transition to a new leader.
It was obviously over for Turnbull, and an honourable man would then resign rather than put his party through even more humiliation. But not Turnbull. Selfish, selfish, selfish. Instead, Turnbull called a press conference, and this man of the left, this cuckoo in the Liberal nest, made clear that he would rather burn the Liberal Party to the ground than let it return to its Conservative roots. Turnbull today unleashed 4 foul tricks to ensure that Peter Dutton, the former Home Affairs Minister, would either be stopped from leading the Liberals or be blown up even if he did win. To do that, Turnbull had to buy time for his crony, Scott Morrison, the Treasurer, to muster as many votes for his own leadership bid. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop this afternoon said she would also stand for leader despite being a Turnbull in skirts. Turnbull, in the meantime, painted Peter Dutton as a crazy guy, illegitimate, unpopular, and a puppet of Rupert Murdoch. To achieve all this dirty work, Turnbull sprung 4 disgraceful tricks. First, he refused to call a special meeting of Liberal MPs to sort out the leadership, even though some 40 have now signed a petition demanding one. He made up a completely new rule, out of the blue. Only if a majority of his MPs, 43, put their name to this petition would he call that meeting. And that came with a threat.
Now, the House has been adjourned at the request of Mr Dutton, and so I now await a letter with the signatures of a majority of the party room, if I receive, which is 43. If I receive that, then I will convene a new party room meeting. We need to see that there is a majority of members, and they need to put their names to it too. These are momentous times, and it's important that people are accountable for what they're doing.
You got it? This was Turnbull stalling for time, so Morrison or Bishop could make all those calls and the threats and the promises overnight to get enough supporters to stop Peter Dutton. And Turnbull was also, though, leaving the Liberals a poison pill. He knows that if Morrison or Bishop wins a leadership ballot against Dutton, the civil war in the Liberals will not end. Conservatives despise Julie Bishop, and they certainly don't trust Scott Morrison. On the other hand, if Dutton wins, the media left will then swing behind Morrison or Bishop as the acknowledged rivals and then use them to attack Dutton for what time has got left. Turnbull's second trick was even nastier. It was to cast doubt on Dutton's legal right to even be in Parliament. For years, Malcolm Turnbull has known that Peter Dutton has an interest in childcare centres that pass on government money to parents. But only now, with Dutton running against him, did Turnbull call in the Solicitor General.
This issue of eligibility is critically important. You can imagine the consequences of having a Prime Minister whose actions and decisions are questionable because of the issue of eligibility.
This hypocrite's third rotten trick? He vowed to quit Parliament if Dutton replaced him, forcing a by-election in a seat the Liberals could lose and costing them their one-seat majority. Turnbull refuses even to sit out the last 9 months or so of this Parliament to give Dutton time to win back the voters. He would rather send the Liberals to destruction than give Dutton a chance to save them. And Turnbull's final trick? He blamed his downfall not on his own blunders, not on his global warming crusade that's torn apart the party, and certainly not on 23 months now of terrible polls. No, he blamed it on his three great Satans, the Murdoch newspapers, Sky News and 2GB, and I should declare I work for them all.
The reality is that a minority in the party room, supported by others outside the Parliament, have sought to bully, intimidate others into making this change of leadership that they're seeking.
Is this man delusional? Is he paranoid or just committing fraud? Because in fact, the Murdoch newspapers also include Malcolm Turnbull's biggest cheerleaders, Miranda Devine, Nikki Savva, Paul Kelly, Peter Van Onselen. I could go on. But here's Turnbull's sick game. He wants to make Peter Dutton seem a Murdoch puppet, a hate figure to be feared. And that's just part of his bigger agenda. This self-obsessed man has failed in trying to turn the right-wing Liberals into a party of the left. Now he's doing his damnedest to ensure the party is destroyed rather than reclaimed, and he made that perfectly clear today.
I think what we've witnessed at the moment is a very deliberate effort to pull the Liberal Party further to the right.
Turnbull made that sound like it was evil, that the party may now look more like the members who fund it and work for it and vote for it. And today he made clear that he will try absolutely anything in his dying hours as Prime Minister to ensure that there will never again be a Liberal Party that's worth saving.